Это аллигатор. Прием. Это с моста. Эй, на мосту. Кто вы?
Hello guys, hope you had a wonderful start on the summer. So I usually spend a lot of my time on going on the offense against games, but this video is going to be about going on the defense for a game. This will still be a critique video though, as the title and thumbnail suggests. Today I wanted to cover and criticize a video that is so misinformed and such blatant misinformation that it makes some of the people that I criticized in the past look good in comparison. Yeah, I'm serious. We're gonna take a dive into a video by Contrarian by the name of Smoothers. The video in question is called L4D2 is a walking simulator. Yes, it's one of those videos. Without further ado,
let's roll.
Hello everyone, Mr. Science Mover here. L4D2 is a walking simulator.
I'm very curious about how you came to that drastic conclusion.
Don't get me wrong, some of my favorite games are walking simulators. If you haven't played it, a good one I would recommend is The Beginner's Guide. There's no strategy or puzzles or challenging gameplay mechanics. You just walk forwards and experience the story.
I haven't played this game, but that looks like a walking simulator to me. I can give you another example of a walking simulator. Death Stranding. Now, how is L4D2 similar to these two walking simulator games? Spoiler alert. There are far more differences than there are similarities.
For fans of L4D2, this may come as a sort of insult. How dare you belittle my beloved game by calling it a walking simulator? There's so much more to it than that.
I know that a lot of people see walking simulator games as bad. I don't see those types of games to be bad inherently, but I do quickly get bored of them. It's just not my type of game. That's why I play L4D2 instead, a game that's not a walking simulator.
To which I say, what? What more is there to L4D2 besides walking forwards interspersed with the occasional shooting straight ahead?
Well, firstly, it's not occasionally shooting. You're moving and shooting all the time. You can also bunny hop in the game to increase your speed. You're leaping around when you're playing Special Infected as the hunter and jockey, while charging as the charger.
To illustrate my point, I'd like to hand it over to Mr. 7.5 million views, Crobcat himself. You've probably seen this video and you recommend it, if not watched the entire thing. If you're a L4D2 fan, you may have even laughed along.
I made a video in response to Crowbat in the past. I received a similar like to dislike ratio on that video, but not so much because of my arguments like this video, but mostly because of poor audio editing and me not being coherent enough in what I was saying that easily led to confusion.
I'd like to give my quick breakdown and analysis of this video in terms of my aforementioned position. You can go ahead and watch the original video for yourself. I've left timestamps for you to fact check me on all this, but for now let's assume this is all correct. Now let's remove everything that doesn't affect gameplay. Immediately the video goes from 26 minutes and 16 seconds all the way down to 6 minutes and 56 seconds.
The witch gets affected by the flashlight that startles her, not just by how close you are to her. That was literally shown in the first L4D1 trailer as a mechanic.
It's okay. We're gonna...
Audio cues obviously affect gameplay depending on what Special Infected you spawn as. You will hear a unique sound cue. Obviously, bot AI affects gameplay too.
Now you may say, but Mr. Science Mover, I love all of that immersion. It makes it feel like a movie. To which I say, yes, that's my point. The creators of L4D2 really put most of their effort into making the game a cinematic experience, rather than making it a fun experience. The amount of effort put into zombie fall animations and character facial expressions that you'll probably never even see, just goes to show that L4D2 is really just a movie where you control the camera.
Their main priority was the gameplay, not the cinematic experience. I mean, fuck, look at how rare cutscenes are in the game. There's one at the beginning and one at the end of every chapter, plus when you start up the game. I have plenty of fun going around shooting zombies while scavenging for items and weapons.
Now let's talk about gameplay.
Going back to our new truncated ProCat video, let's remove everything the video claims Back 4 Blood doesn't have, but which it actually does. Yeah, you've got a lazy comparison between two honestly very different specials and versus campaign. Granted, Back 4 Blood does not in fact have a versus campaign, and Sworn is, well, not a replacement. But allow me to address the 3 complaints I removed here.
First, we have bot AI. Back 4 Blood's bot AI has historically suffered as the game has a very high skill ceiling, and trying to emulate a player is near impossible. For example, one complaint the Back 4 Blood community had was that on a team of 4 people, you'd start with 4,000 copper to share between you. In solo, you'd only have 1,000 copper. That's an issue for sure, but it's not an issue that Left 4 Dead 2 ever had to deal with. Their solution was to have no shop. I fail to see how the solution to a slightly unbalanced mechanic is not attempting it at all. This applies to both the bots on your team, as well as the zombies.
What the fuck are you talking about? Why are we talking about Back 4 Blood now? What are you trying to argue? If you're implying that Back 4 Blood is better than Left 4 Dead 2, then that's a really brain rot statement to make. Especially considering the fact that Back 4 Blood has microtransaction, while Left 4 Dead 2 doesn't. I'm aware that other Valve games has microtransaction as well, which I very much oppose as well.
Left 4 Dead 2 fans like to call the system that controls the enemy AI Game Director. Left 4 Dead 2 fans like to claim that their Game Director can sense how well you're doing and send you more or fewer zombies depending on your progress.
If you're struggling, it will calm the horde, and if you're doing too well, it'll send you more. Back 4 Blood doesn't have this adaptive game director, and that's a good thing. If I can't beat the game on the difficulty I set it to, then I want to at least know that the next time I play, I'll have learned and gotten better. This is only possible if difficulty is standardized. If hard mode actually scales back down to easy mode, and easy mode actually scales up to hard mode, then are there really any difficulty settings at all? Do I really get a choice of what difficulty to play, or is it all an illusion? You are in control of the game. In Left 4 Dead 2, the game controls you, and that's because you're not a player, you're a viewer.
So it is true that Left 4 Dead 2 has a dynamic difficulty, similar to Resident Evil 4. Whether you like dynamic difficulty or not, I don't care about at the moment. I want to focus on the selective difficulties. The choice you have between the difficulties does matter because it will still determine how much friendly fire you and your teammates will receive during friendly fire. If the witch will one-shot you as well, and I think fall damage also determines that.
Left 4 Dead 2 has 8 specials. The Witch, the Tank, the Boomer, the Charger, the Hunter, the Smoker, the Jockey, and the Spitter. Immediately you can try to make connections between some of these as the original video did, but let's take a look at all of Back 4 Blood specials. That leaves us with 23 total special infected, with each having different abilities and having to be dealt with accordingly. The depth here is incredible, and Left 4 Dead 2 doesn't hold a candle to it.
More content does not always equal a better game, is all I'm gonna say to this statement. And besides, many of the special infected in Back 4 Blood are slightly different variants of an already existing special infected.
Somewhat related, Left 4 Dead 2 has 33 different weapons. That's a sizable amount, and I commend it for its variety, but Back 4 Blood has 42 different weapons.
I'm gonna say this one more time. More content does not equal a better game. It can help with the replayability, but if it's too bloated, then that can actually be a negative for a game.
And on top of that, each weapon can be upgraded.
I hate to break it to you, but Left 4 Dead 2 also has weapon upgrades. You can give your guns a laser attachment, and you can upgrade its ammo to frag rounds or incendiary rounds. If you actually play the game for more than 5 minutes, you would know this.
I never want to get caught out of position in case a horde is called. I'm always checking rooms for copper lying around that I can use later to buy supplies. Neither of these are present in Left 4 Dead 2 because in Left 4 Dead 2, the creators wanted to make a movie. You play the movie Left 4 Dead 2. Every playthrough is the same, and every player has the same experience as every other.
Every playthrough is the same? What? Dude, come on, this is just dishonest. The game is full of RNG, making the experience have a very random outcome. Sometimes a witch will spawn, or a tank will spawn, or none of them. Sometimes you get better items, which is determined by both RNG and the game director. While you can't sell the items you scavenge for, you can still scavenge items in Left 4 Dead 2.
You won't go to a movie theater and get the Pittsburgh Special Edition of Thor Love and Thunder. There's just the movie and you can watch it. You can even watch it twice or 3 times, but it's still the same movie.
So how is Left 4 Dead 2 like a movie, exactly? It's still an interactable experience. You have yet to prove how Left 4 Dead 2 is a walking simulator, by the way.
For my final point, Back 4 Blood does have a story, and even individual character backstories, which is even more impressive given that it has 11 characters, each with their own abilities, compared to Left 4 Dead 2's 4 identical characters.
What do you mean 4 identical characters? If you're talking about the parents, then there's also some dishonesty there because there's a huge contrast between a white man and a black woman. Also, Left 4 Dead 2 and Left 4 Dead 1 characters are in the game, which was added in many years ago. So that makes it 8 characters. This fuck up by Smoothers was not done because of its video being old or anything like that. As a matter of fact, it was made around 2 weeks ago. So there's no excuse for getting this wrong.
The Crobcat video does a great job of playing up the role of story in the development of Left 4 Dead 1, but makes no mention of Left 4 Dead 2. Why is that? Well, having played Left 4 Dead 2, it's because there is none. You play as 4 people who just happen to live next to each other and need to be rescued, and that's about it. There's no story goals beyond the occasional, hey, get me my beer, and I never really felt like I saw into the personality of any of the characters. On the contrary, there are a multitude of storylines in Back 4 Blood going on at the same time.
If you listen to the dialogue, you will know that there is a pretty clear story to this. And the dialogue also shows the character's personality, so once again, you are wrong.
Finally, here's a rapid fire list of complaints I had while playing Left 4 Dead 2. Where do I start? And why are there so many levels? Oh wait, it's because there are 3 different storylines. And actually, technically, the second storyline comes before the first storyline. And the third storyline isn't even canon?
Ironic. You were just praising Back 4 Blood for having more content than Left 4 Dead 2, and now you're criticizing Left 4 Dead 2 for having too many levels. Sorry dude, just because Left 4 Dead 2 has more levels than Back 4 Blood does not automatically make it less superior.
Taking damage completely disorients your reticle. What the hell is even happening to me right now? For all the talk of zombie animations, I feel like I never know if they're actually dead.
I will say this, the view punch from the zombies hitting you can be very frustrating at times, and the randomized common zombie animation deaths, it can be difficult to know when they're dead. I brought this up in my response to Crowbat's video, and I was offered a solution to use the low violence launch command, which fixes the issue. Though I wish it was possible to enable that through settings or console commands instead.
Anyway, those are my opinions on Left 4 Dead 2. I think going into it expecting it to be a game like Back 4 Blood was a mistake. I personally didn't have fun, but it also doesn't matter, because it's just a movie. I didn't want to watch a movie though, I wanted to play a game, and I don't really feel like I did.
When you wanted to dislike a game before you even start playing it, then you're gonna have impossible standards for any game to satisfy you. This just comes across as you being a fanboy for Back 4 Blood, to be honest with you. So in conclusion, to sum it up in a nutshell, instead of proving that it's a quote-unquote walking simulator, the video, it essentially just became a Back 4 Blood is better than a Left 4 Dead 2 because more content, but also because of less content in other areas. What an absolute brain rot of a video. It was so bad initially when I watched it that I thought it was a parody. No, seriously, I thought this was a bait, but the more and more I watched it, the more clear it became to me that this was an unironic fanboy of Back 4 Blood. Don't get the wrong idea though, I'm not fanboying for Left 4 Dead 2. There are some aspects of Back 4 Blood that are better than Left 4 Dead 2. I mentioned that in the older video of mine, and I got a lot of criticism by redditors for that, but I came to that conclusion there that it's just an overall better game. Anyways, I'm gonna get off and get some therapy sessions since that video took a toll on my mental health. I dropped some brain cells just by listening to this brain rot. Like if you like my video, and subscribe if you love this sort of content, you know, commentary style. If you disliked my video, hit dislike and comment down below why you didn't like it. See ya peeps. Until next time.
For D, or wait for official instructions. Shit, wait my ass.